Hey everybody, Chris Scott here. Just want to give you a quick update on the Ottawa real estate market. Interesting times right now because there's a lot of different perspectives on the market, opinions. I just read an article yesterday in the Ottawa Business Journal talking about how hot the Ottawa real estate market is in June. And I find that a little bit misleading because that's not what I'm finding on the ground. The words I would use to describe our market right now are balanced and stable, but I don't think I would use the word hot. They're looking at June numbers only when compared to June of last year. Sure, our sales are up 10% in that period of time. But what I like to look at is actually year-to-date statistics. So everything from January 1st to now when compared against 2024. And what I'm finding when I look at that, we're actually down in sales by a few hundred sales in our market. Inventory is up quite a bit. We're at 4.2 months worth of inventory on the market, which indicates a very balanced market. And that balanced market actually feels more like a buyer's market because if you look over the past 6 or 7 years, we've been in seller's market territory. So it's still balanced, but the adjustment makes it feel like it's a buyer's market. And you could be in a buyer's market depending on the segment of the market you're in. When we look at the macro level in Ottawa, very much balanced market, and then you start going into some of the segments of the market, and every market is unique. If you look at condos downtown right now, in your condo buyer, you're in a buyer's market. There's good deals out there. There's been downward pressure on prices as there's been more inventory in some of the buildings, and we're seeing prices come down to compete, to sell, and that's very much a buyer's market. If you look at Westboro under 900, we were involved in a multiple offer situation there yesterday with 14 offers on it. Very much a seller's market. And a lot of the other markets around are going to be more in the balanced area. What I'm finding now more than ever is sellers are not getting their price right off the get-go. So they're spending a lot more time on the market than they need to. I'm seeing houses, coming down $100,000, $150,000 from their original asking price, sometimes 15, 20% from what they thought they were going to get to where they ended up selling for. That's a big difference. So I'm not sure, if they're looking at past sales from a few years ago and pricing there, or, maybe they're not getting the right advice on where the pricing is, because you really need to find that sweet spot now if you're going to sell. And just because you're not pricing it high doesn't mean you're not going to get the most amount of money for your house. Sometimes by pricing it high, you're actually going to get less money because by the time you get down in the market where you're supposed to be, buyers have already left. They've already looked at your place. You've already had your first impression. So just keep that in mind. And this year is the year where you have to have the price and the condition working together. So you have to have it priced well, and you have to have the house staged and showing well. So you need those ingredients and the marketing and expertise from a realtor, because what I'm finding is there's a lot of different negotiation points in the offer right now. Obviously, selling the house, number one, or buying the house, and then after the inspection, abatement, it's almost like we're re-entering the negotiation. So it's going to require, somebody that has the knowledge and expertise to do that. If you have any questions about what's happening in your neighborhood, get in touch with us. We're always happy to help. And now more than ever is a good time to get some solid advice. Thanks, everybody.